Hello and welcome to MOTORKRANK. This is my Kawasaki ZZR 600 Model E, so the upgraded one with the adjustable front fork and the ram air system, for example. And this one was neglected and more or less parked for the last 5 years. So in the first episode we just dismounted every fairing on this, as everything on the fairing is scratched or broken. So it had 7 owners before. Might be not an ideal situation, but it was quite cheap. In this episode we will do the maintenance work. So let's get back to the drawing board. So for today I planned to clean the air filter. This is a reusable one. I hope it is not deteriorated and I don't have to buy a new one, as these are quite expensive. Cleaning the intake system as well, then do an oil change. Hopefully there is no glitter in the oil. Then flushing the cooling system, and last but not least, once we have unmounted the air filter and intake system, let's have a look at the spark plugs. But let's get started with the air filter. I'm quite curious how much debris is in there, as taking off the fairing and so on, there was a lot of debris already in the ram air system. Let's see how it looks. So this is not looking good. I think it deteriorated. It is just in bits and pieces, and oh wow. So this is just breaking apart, touching it, and oh my god. Was this the air filter? Was this everything that... Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, okay, this is going into the bin. But other than that, I think that's okay, that's fine. There's another cover. I think that is just holding back the debris that is created by the air filter itself from entering the intake, but oh god. So it was due. It really was due to be serviced. Let's clean this out and have a look on the intake runners as well. Now let's move our way down to the spark plugs. They should be right underneath here. So the spark plugs seem to be in great condition. As you can see, they're completely clean up top, so no failure of the valve cover. There's no oil at all. They are a bit dark, but that's just because we run the engine with the choke on, so it was quite rich and therefore it has a lot of carbon on it. Once you rev it when it's warm, the carbon gets burned, and then those should turn out quite nice. So I quickly cleaned them with a brass wire brush, and now I will refit them. Why not? They seem to be in very good shape, so nearly new. So yes, it had a service when it was parked 5 years ago. Next on the list is the oil change. The filter is located up here. You can reach it or barely reach it through the front. I hope this isn't too tight, and the drain plug is located here. So hopefully this will come off easily. Yes, it wasn't over tighted. So let's see if we make a mess or I am quick enough. So the oil is quite dark. No, actually it isn't, so looks okay. It's not brand new, but it actually looks okay, and there, as far as I can see, are absolutely no flakes in it. So nothing shiny here, that's a good sign. Oh, and another good sign, this is an OE oil filter. So yes, it was a good buy, I think. It was serviced at Kawasaki, or at least somebody walked the extra mile to get a filter and an OE filter from Kawasaki. So while the oil is still draining down there, I think we can flush the cooling system, or at least at first try to empty it. There is something in the overflow canister, and this one leads right to the thermostat housing. So this needs to be undone and then routed to the bottom to empty this bottle. As this is the highest point, yes, there is a bleeding nut as well, or a bleeding fitting. That's good to know for later. And as well on the other side, where the coolant lines go into the radiator and back. So there is a line and there is a line. The water pump is here. On the water pump housing, there is as well a bleeding plug or fitting. So to empty the whole system, I think I will just disconnect both hoses from the radiator. This seems to be plenty to drain the radiator and as well to drain the engine block. That is actually looking like brand new coolant. So I will definitely not flush the system, just refill it with fresh one. And even the fluid out of the overflow tank is looking quite nice. I think I definitely will leave it as it is, not flush the system, just refill it and properly bleed it. There is something left here as usual, and I will just flush the overflow container with fresh water, and then I think we should be fine. So we're back at the oil change. I think it drained a lot. It's still dripping, but I think it could be dripping for the next few hours, and I don't have that time. There's a new washer and the plug goes back in. Now for the oil filter, this one has a nut on the back. Maybe this is a 17, so that's quite handy. It is pre-oiled, but I will use a little bit of the old oil, not of the new one, and screw it back in. And 3.7 liters of the good stuff go in. And once it runs and it is warm, we will check the level again. I've not put in 3.7 liters, but more like 3.5-ish. So we will then check the oil level and proceed. So I already mixed the coolant, 2.5 liters to be exact, and as I don't know what the exact filling procedure is, I will just start filling the coolant and see what happens. I think I will not fill in everything, or it will not fit everything. We need to bleed the system. So now it's up to the top. And I think we also need to fill the overflow tank, because the manual says it's 2.5 liters for the whole system, including the overflow canister. So obviously there is enough fuel still in the carburetors, and yeah, the engine is obviously not warm, but warmish. Let's see if there is any trapped air. Yes. And there comes the fluid. Now let it cool down and see if we can fill up the thermostat housing, or if it just sucks in the excess fluid from the reservoir. So we are back at the drawing board, and this means this episode is coming to an end. What did we achieve? We cleaned the intake and we tried to clean the air filter. It is obviously not a reusable one, and I need to buy another one. So this is half-ish checked. So next is the oil change. We did an oil change and an oil filter change. Everything was quite well. Cooling system flush. We did not need to flush it. But we just replaced the coolant and we bled the system. The spark plugs were newish, so we just cleaned them, inspected them and replaced them. So everything is quite nice with this bike, besides the fairing and everything I need to do around cosmetics on this bike. There will be done a lot, and it will be a lot of sanding, repairing fairings and plastics and bezels and everything. I'm not looking forward to that, but I am looking forward to drive this bike. I think it will be quite a good daily. I hope you enjoyed the series so far as I did. It is really a pleasure working on a newer bike. Yes, this is still quite old, from 1996, but I'm used to work on older ones. So this series will go on. Consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up. I will end this now with a stay motorkrank.